And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, welcome. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Make sure you guys do give us a follow to follow our programming here 6 days a week here on Amazon. You'll see the follow button either here in this corner or down below. You will also see the book by our next guest. We're excited to welcome executive business consultant and author Michele Grant to our broadcast. We're going to talk to Michele not only about the great work she's been able to do to empower women, but also about her brand new book. You guys will see here, The Power Dressers. We have it on Amazon as well. You guys will see the hardcover copy there. I'm going to highlight it for you guys on the carousel. You can get it for $19.95 or for 50% off. You can be able to one click today, the Kindle edition, have it highlighted there for you guys for $9.99. We're going to talk to Michele about the work she's been able to do as a business consultant, but also what is it that led her to write the book, The Power Dressers, what it was like for her to literally be front and center throughout the book. You guys will see that when you get your copy, but also what her goal is for all of you as you're picking it up for yourself. If you all have any questions or comments for Michele, make sure you guys do put them in the chat. We are simulcasting our broadcast today, so we do welcome those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, as well as on Instagram. Renee, I already see you over there on IG. Glad you could join us. But Michele, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Cyrus. Happy to be here to discuss the book.
Well, look, the pleasure's definitely all mine. So I should say this book is written, well, of course, with women in mind, but us guys, I think, can pick up a lot in this book, Michele, as well. And that is about what our dress says about us to others, but also what it says to us about ourselves. And I thought that was an interesting part of reading The Power Dressers for me. What has it been like for you to see the way that your audience has been responding to the book?
It's been very, very inspiring. You have a vision in mind that you begin with to put pen to paper. And in writing The Power Dressers, I really found great just inspiration and vision to speak about how this appearance aspect of our lives is so important, how we can start to be instrumental in driving that. But then when you hear the audience give you feedback on how much it means and how important it is to them as well, it really lets you understand that some things have to be brought to light, and you need to create a platform in which we can really discuss it and start to realize how we can use it to our future and to benefit our future.
Yeah. I think people like yourself, Michele, that are business consultants there to be able to help people who may want to be able to make sure they're putting their best self forward are definitely in a unique position to be able to not only to be listened to, but also respected when they're able to give advice and direction, like in a book like The Power Dressers. So what led you down this path? What is it that led you to be a business consultant? Why was that a field where you felt like you could do the most good and be of most help?
Absolutely. I started out my career in technology a couple of decades ago, really as an internet marketer in media. And I moved into consulting, leading digital transformation programs across many industries: banking, finance, advertising, technology, retail, you name it. And, in my implementation of these initiatives, I found that there was a very, very key aspect to my success. And it was a result of my intentional approach to my personal style. And I realized that in everything that I did, it would always sort of lead back to a client asking me, we do need to talk about how you do what you do so well, but we also need to talk about how consistent you show up in terms of appearance and how much that means when you're interacting with other clients and even kicking off new engagements. And I would find that they would ask for advice, and that started to roll in. And I realized that, this is something that I can actually make a little bit more formal. When I got to the point of I had an engagement at Coach. And at that time, they had sort of tossed around the idea of me doing lunch and learns and, different opportunities for me to speak to the employees at the time of Brown Style and how we put style together, which was, of course, very fitting for a fashion retail company. But that really triggered me to say, maybe this is something that we can actually share worldwide and spread in a larger way. And I started to put some pen to paper and write a few points around how you bring your own personal style to bear. And
Right.
that's how it all started.
Wow. And I love that. And so I wanted to ask you about comfort level. Hello to you, Herschel. Good to be able to see you over there on the IG side. Appreciate you guys over there on YouTube as well. If you guys have any questions or comments for Michele, don't be shy. Make sure you guys put those in the comment section as well. We'd love to be able to share those with our audience. But I want to ask you about comfort level, Michele, because I think as I was reading the book and we see quotes from you, we're able to see, of course, photographs of you throughout the book as you're talking about different aspects of where, this kind of really comes into play when it comes to being a power dresser. We're going to get into some of that. Has that been an easy thing for you to embrace, being kind of putting yourself out there, and not only, of course, being able to share your confidence, but to show others how they can show up with confidence?
Absolutely. There has been, many times where I have had to ensure that not only am I communicating my expertise and my own personal brand through my attire, but also communicating a sense of confidence of what I can actually achieve and produce and do in whatever space I'm going to be in. And so for me, that has been near and dear to my approach to different environments and working with new companies and clients. As a consultant, you have many opportunities to do so. And I heavily and intentionally do take it seriously and spend the time to curate the style that I know will work best for that particular environment. And when you look at the heart of, as dynamic women and even men, you're going to find that we're in different spaces. It does not necessarily mean that this only applies to the office. We're being consistent, not only within our work environments, but even outside of that, because our professional selves and our professional development expands outside of what we're doing just from 9 to 5. So if you're invited to play tennis, or you're invited to a luncheon, we want to be consistent. And I spend the time to ensure that I am consistent with what I'm portraying and how people are going to perceive me in all of those environments.
I love that. And one of the things that Michele talks about in the book, and I can just say from remembering she was talking, is how when you are putting together your wardrobe, things that you can be able to mix and match and be able to put together, for different occasions. And you even give some of those that I know our audience will appreciate. We have a lot of authors, recording artists that follow us on social. Michele, you talk about going to social gatherings, going to media interviews. You talk about product launches, which our audience is big on that. Talk to us about that, because I think a lot of times we don't think about how the type of event we're going to should kind of have something to say about what we choose to wear. Talk to us about that connection together.
Yes, there are many elements to that. When you think of the environment you want to be in, there is going to be a particular culture to that event, or the type of gathering it will be. And so being clear and understanding what that culture is ahead of time, and then planning accordingly to ensure that you fit um, the result or the outcome of what that event is meant to do and be is very important to those understanding your adeptness to the environment, adeptness to what you are going to be doing, whether it's networking or working through opportunities that might arise.
Right.
Once you come prepared, it shows your discipline. It shows how you are not only dynamic but adept in these environments, and it also shows your experience as well.
Such a great point. The Lit is hello to you. Good to see you over there on IG. I appreciate you joining us as well. I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, welcome. You're watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon, is where we're primarily our broadcast. But we do welcome those tuning in on social, on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and on Instagram. We're joined today by executive business consultant and author Michele Grant. We're talking with her about this book, The Power Dressers. Those joining us on Amazon, we have the hardcover edition. They're highlighted in our carousel for $19.95. We also have the Kindle edition there for 50% off for $9.99. If you guys are joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, we do have the link for Amazon with this broadcast. You can be able to click on the link you see there and to be able to come over to Amazon and get it for yourself. Those joining us on X, who will be able to put it in the comment section after the broadcast, and on Instagram, we'll make sure we'll put it in our stories for you guys as well. But we're talking to Michele not only about the work she's been able to do as a consultant, but also what it's been like for her to share this in the book. I want to talk about the pandemic for a moment, Michele. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I was really fascinated about you even talked about virtual dress as well. And I think a lot of times, I think since the pandemic, that has definitely varied for a lot of people. Hey, Dr. Van, I'm going to be able to see you over there on Facebook. Talk to us about how you feel like the pandemic kind of changed, I'll put it that way, the way that people see themselves when it comes to dress and presenting themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, you use the word that I often use to describe it's a change. We've experienced a change in the way we do business, a change in our work, our style of work, and a change in how we interact with our work and expertise as well. And so for some people, this meant a more relaxed look, focusing on what your feeling, making sure you're more balanced in your work attire throughout the day. The biggest takeaway is that not that it is wrong intentionally, but it is to be refined. If you have an opportunity to tweak it now that you've come to I would say more of a balanced approach to being comfortable. You do not have the opportunity to have your in-person appearances as much as you would have. Some people that impacted them tremendously, where they're completely remote now, 100% remote. And so these virtual settings give us more opportunities sometimes to interact one-on-one with team members. You have more one-on-one time. You can schedule one-on-one talks and opportunities like that. But you also want to ensure that you're communicating the same presence as much as possible as you would do in person. And how can we utilize that and benefit from this new virtual space and still communicate the power that we bring to a situation, and be intentional about that. And so I go into things like paying attention to your colors, paying attention to your patterns and your prints. How does this look on camera? Some things bounce off differently on the screen in terms of color, shine, etc. Not being afraid to use accessories. Even though you're going to be on camera, you are still among others and you still stand out. There is a way for you to do that and stand out, and you want to be remembered. So although we're virtual and remote, we don't want to lose sight of looking for the differentiating factor that we can to stand out from the crowd.
Michele, people are going to think we set this up. I literally, when you were talking, I turned to chapter 7 of the book, Enhancing Your Style with Accessories Footwear, because I thought
That's
about that
right.
as we were talking, because even for us guys, and I follow several male style influencers online because of what I do here with Amazon on camera, but also we do in-person events as well. We just did one in Los Angeles this past week. So I'm always looking for ways to be able to do exactly what you're talking about. So that's why I said, for myself reading this book, I thought it was interesting. Even though your audience is primarily women, us guys can learn a lot from this. I want to give a quick shout out here on IG. Spinksman, hello to you. Good to see you over there on IG. D Collects, hello to you. Libersation says people got lazy about how they look. That is definitely true. Libersation is for sure. But it does show an opportunity. And I want to share something you wrote, Michele, if you don't mind. Because as you were talking, I went to chapter 7, Enhancing Your Style with Accessories, Footwear, and Grooming. And you said this, and I thought this was so important. The number one thing, embrace the power of simplicity. You say in professional attire, simplicity often reigns supreme. Opt for elegant and understated pieces that complement your outfit without overwhelming it. And again, us guys, we can be guilty of this too. But why is it so important for us not to be so extravagant, Michele, but to focus on the simplicity and let that be the statement for us?
Because what we are communicating is something is giving us a platform to allow our authentic selves to radiate through the attire. So once I get your attention, once I know I have your attention, and you have a certain perspective, you want to hear more of what I have to say. And so what we don't want to do is detract from that. We don't want to have so much of a distraction going on that we now lose the very reason why we got your attention in the first place, right? Because it's really to communicate. When we say power dresser, it's really to communicate the power that resides within us, what we have to bring, the value that we're bringing to the table, and then having the gateway to communicate that and not the opposite, where we might detract from it or create a distraction that will not result in us being able to fully gain the outcome that we're looking for.
Right. It's such a great point, and it goes counter to what we're shown sometimes, quite honestly, Michelle,
Mhm.
because a lot of times people think you have to be loud in what you're presenting in order to get attention. But I love the fact that, as one thing people will see as they're going through the book, is that you really do show in different settings how really it is sometimes being subtle, but also being yourself, how that really can be the best amplifier for you. I want to ask you about the journey of writing the book, because this is work again you have committed yourself to. Is something that you personally believe in. What was it like for you to have this accomplishment, Michelle, of now being a published author?
Well, it has definitely been a journey. When I tell you, it has been years of writing this book. I started about, I don't know, 6 to 7 years ago.
Oh wow.
And you realize throughout your career different elements that add even more in depth, robust analysis. There's a lot of research that went into the book as well, really speaking to why this is important, right? Yes, appearances and perceptions are formed in the first 7 to 8 seconds of people meeting you. Where is that documented? And really taking the time to say, how are corporations, companies, different environments really analyzing this information and processing it? And when I provide these suggestions, how can you really utilize it and put it into action without me telling you what to do? Because it's so important to have your own unique style at the end of this journey. And so I kept refining and really ensuring that this first book, and I'll say this first book of a series, hopefully,
Yeah.
really, really set you on the path to say, when I am done, I know exactly how to put together the look that I know will stand out, not only for what I'm doing today, but for what I want to do in the next 5 years and going into the future. And if I need to change that at some point, because change and being dynamic all go hand in hand, I know how to go back to the drawing board because I have a true guide that can guide me through every element, whether it's talking about color, size, fit. If I change, my body sizing changes, what do I do? How do I go about maintaining this well curated approach to my attire
Mhm.
and still fitting into this new me and new way of style and dressing that I may have in 5 to 10 years. So that was really the goal, and it took quite some time to get there. But I'm so happy. I am excited. It's a number one Amazon bestseller. So
Mhm.
the launch itself has been quite exciting. And the feedback that I have been getting, it's almost like um, a new area, even though for women, it is something that we talk about and think about on a daily basis. It hasn't had its moment to really be brought to light from a discussion standpoint and a focus standpoint. And so I find that women are really enjoying the opportunity to discuss it and to talk about what the tips are in not only putting the wardrobe together, but maintaining the wardrobe. What does this look like if I don't have a lot of space and I need to, rent items, or I want to be more sustainable? How can I do that without going overboard in terms of buying and shopping and things like that? So I cover quite a bit that really gives you those tools that you need um, on a long term basis.
Right. So once again, we're in sync here, Michelle. That's one of the things I wanted to share from the book about what you write about research and sustainability. I want to
Thank
read
you.
a bit of that. I want to say hello real quick. Hello to you, Manswell, over on IG. The Lit Receptionist says, because you need to be comfortable in what you are wearing to be comfortable in what you're saying. Totally agree with that. Lit Receptionist, Manswell says, research is key to a book. Definitely. ESP Presents. Ellen, hello to you. She says hello to you as well over on IG there. Michelle, so I want to read what you wrote here, because as you were talking, once again, I thought about something you wrote. Let me see what the chapter is for our audience. It's chapter 4, building a professional wardrobe with sustainability and style in mind. You say this about research, and this is why I wanted to bring this up, because a lot of times people look at their wardrobe as an investment, right? Which it is. But also, you talk about the importance of that research. You say this: to create a wardrobe that aligns with your values, familiarize yourself with brands known for their eco conscious practices. Look for companies prioritizing transparency and sharing information about their manufacturing processes, materials, and labor practices. So, research is a big part of this as well, right, Michele, when it comes to putting your wardrobe together, because it is something you hope will be with you for some time, right?
Exactly, exactly. When you take this approach to say, okay, I'm really going to spend the time and invest our valuable time as professional women, we want there to be an element of longevity. And what does that mean? It means buying quality items. It means having a very clear plan on how we're going to maintain them. It means ensuring that we know the way to take care of the items, brands that are using sustainable materials, materials that we know will last. And so doing that research upfront will help you in the long run. And I do talk about also identifying a tailor. Every woman, everyone, men and women should have a tailor that they love, that works, that knows you can drop it off at the counter and they know exactly what to do with it. Not much has to be said, right? Once they know your body type, your fit, etc. And so build that relationship. I talk about finding one, also coming up with different ways to wash your clothes that will allow those fabrics, the quality fabrics, to last longer. We sometimes take for granted the technological advancements that have happened in things outside of tech. I'm in tech, so we're always thinking about software,
Yeah.
but there are advancements happening in detergents, eco-friendly options that we might not have known 5 or 10 years ago. So staying at the pulse of that will require some research for sure.
Love that. Such great tips, Michele. I'm so glad we have you on to be able to talk to our audience here on Amazon about it, as well as our social media audience as well. Again, everyone, executive business consultant and now best-selling author Michele Grant has been our guest. The book is The Power Dresses. Again, you can get the hardcover here on Amazon. You can get it for $19.99. I'm going to highlight it again for you guys in the carousel over on the Amazon side, or you can go ahead and one-click the Kindle edition for 50% off for only $9.99. Again, for those joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, the link is there to be able to bring you guys over to Amazon. For X, we'll make sure that we put it in the comment section of this broadcast. And then on Insta, we'll make sure that we put it in the stories as well. Michele, what is your hope when people pick up the book, if they're just now starting to think seriously about their wardrobe and what it says about them or how they can personalize their wardrobe? What do you hope the Power Dressers does for them?
My biggest hope and what I always envisioned it to be is to allow their true self to come true. So it should give them an opportunity to say, what is my authentic look? What is my authenticity? And not only where I am today, but who I'm going to be. And I want this to be a guide and a blueprint for them to put that together. And not only the reason, not only how to do it, but the reasons why. So you'll find as you go through the book, there's so many answers and descriptors on, how color impacts emotional outcomes in a particular environment or setting, and how people respond to different aspects that I talk about and I discuss. So I really want them to understand not only the how, but the why. And then they can turn around and be, power dressers that can embody and make this a larger sort of movement, so to speak, that lives on well into, the future. And also, when we think about the different stages of our career, this doesn't only have to be for current professionals. We're looking at aspiring professionals being
Right.
walking away with a ton of direction and understanding, but also seasoned executives. When we go into our, now they're saying third and fourth careers in a lifetime, right? Well, how do we reinvent ourselves? You're now an entrepreneur, or you've gone into a different phase of work. How do we then say, okay, I'm going to quickly get up to speed in this new space, and I can do that too. And so that's what I'm hoping, that they have a can-do approach to all of these different phases of life when it comes to their attire and appearance.
Love that. Great information, Michele. Congratulations to you on the book. So glad to have you on with us. How can our viewers stay connected with you?
My website has all of the information you would need, where to get the book. On Amazon, of course. I am available via email, michele@powerdressers.com. My website is www.powerdressers.com. And I am also available on all social media outlets. You can keep up with everything that's going on with the Power Dressers. And the handles for most of them are the Power Dressers, actually.
Right.
Yes. There we go.
Look, Michele, enjoyed the book. So glad we had a chance to chat, and definitely looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I had a great time.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, thank you so much for being with us. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Take care.